Hello everyone and welcome to Legends in Action Live presented by OnePlus. I'm Medic and we are coming to you live from the Fnatic house here in Berlin. Now over the next couple of hours we will be meeting some very familiar faces, but maybe a few surprising ones too as we cover the 2018 season for Fnatic. We look at the new League of Legends European Championship, not the EU LCS, which I'm sure I'll make that mistake later on. We do some giveaways, we have some one-on-ones, and we unveil the 2019 new Fnatic jersey as well. It's going to be an incredibly exciting time, and throughout the show you guys have the opportunity to ask questions of the Fnatic players and of Youngbuck as well. Your questions will be chosen from Twitch chat or from Twitter, so if you use the hashtag LIA Live, then your question might be selected later on. But for now, we want to get things started, we want to kick things off, so we're going to start off by introducing Fnatic's head coach. It's Youngbuck. Oh, welcome to the sofa, Youngbuck. 6-star general, 6 consecutive championships. You're a pretty mean dancer as well, I can see from the end of that. What is it that excites you about being head coach this year for Fnatic?
Well, I've always been passionate about drafting, ever since starting in G2. And sadly, I was on the sidelines last year. But now that we've changed the staff a bit, I mean, it was a perfect opportunity to grab the head coach position again and get back to drafting on stage.
Get your hands back on the draft means that Whippo can't pick his outlandish champions. You're going to be putting him in his place?
He's back on tank duty.
He's back on tank duty. That's what I like to hear. I'm sure Whippo waiting in the wings is a little bit nervous. But let's move it on and go towards the next player that we're going to announce. It is the king of supports, the Pike God himself, feared by AD carries and mid laners alike. It's Hillisang.
30 minutes in, it's a big lead for Fnatic. Not worried about that 10-minute sack. Betsy!
Okay. Castle delays, snowball, and now here we go.
Lockdown comes through, the chain CC is going to go in down from below. Not quite going to be enough to Shen! Stopping it, but Brock's are going to grab the kill in the end. Fnatic.
All the skill shots.
It's a skill button, dude.
Oh,
Come on, don't knock it. Oh, wait a second. That's better. Wait a second. They pulled back Promise Q. He is getting chunked while the turret falls in the mid. That is a lot of Swain damage. He's been quietly stacking it up as well. Get close to that Rod of Ages. Death from below. Sheriff will have to dash and dodge, but it's not going to be enough, and they tag team it.
Ghostwater dive forward. Where's the Bone Skewer going to go? Using the ulti to get himself into it. Pulling off that back. A beautiful play. The best Pike in the world, you said, Deficio.
Welcome, Hilly. The best Pike in the world. Do you think you still hold on to that title coming into the 2019 season?
I hope so. I haven't practiced that much, but I think I'm still the best Pike in the world, and I hope I have opportunity to show it up on stage this time.
Especially with so many big name supports coming into the league as well, there's a lot more challenge for you. We're going to talk a little bit more about the league later on, but I think the big question for you is, how much did you miss Whippo in the off-season?
Well, not that much. No, I'm joking.
He can hear you. He's waiting there.
I mean, I always enjoy his being around me, so I think I missed him a bit, but not too much.
Okay. I'll tell him you said that later on. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Thanks very much, Hilly. You are now seated on the couch. It says take a seat on the couch in the order queue, but you're already seated, so you don't need to take one, which is great. We're going to move on to the other end of the rift now, and it is Whippo, the top laner, the most impactful rookie of the year. Let's bring him in.
Level, so one Swain pops it and pull it back, and this could be really good damage. Cody Sun is aggro, he's gone! He's gone to get Cody Sun as well. Has to pop his own ultimate, but this could be a chase down Whippo.
Yeah, but Levi is trying to get behind him. This is pretty telegraphed, so I think Whippo is probably fine, but we'll see.
Gotta watch out, Hugh! Oh, Deathbringer stance, living up to his name.
We're calling now 5 members of Fnatic are around mid lane.
Oh, shock blast! The flash on the top side is actually only capturing his right here, so a pretty good stay right there. Now Hootie's gonna be careful, the Q comes across! Whippo finds a solar kill up top, and now a trade to the bottom side as well.
There's now.
So Whippo, we're just debating, obviously thank you very much for joining us, but is this now your signature pose? Is this something that you've created?
I don't think so.
Because Reckless has this, you're going to have this now, Caps has the clap.
Oh, I don't think so, but...
I think you can make it into something.
Oh, maybe?
I talked to Hilla-sang. He says he didn't miss you that much in the off-season, so that's a good thing to hear. And Young Buck said you're on tank duty. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I've been on tank duty ever since I joined this team, I believe, so nothing changed there.
No real change.
Well, at least I missed Hilla-sang, so, you know.
You did? You did? I feel it's unrequited love. Yeah. We'll see as the season develops.
I mean, I haven't been with him bot lane, so it wasn't as bad, but I remember the good times.
Okay, well, I hope we can have some sort of that, friendship build up again over the 2019 season. Thank you very much, Whip, for joining us. In the jungle, we're hoping to see some big, sick Lee Sin plays this year. It's Broxah. He's popping off!
Fnatic should know that this is happening. They get a blue trinket down.
5K and drop, and Broxah needs to make his way in immediately. Jackstrol's trying to find the causes. Can he get out of it? But he's stuck.
Oh, God! The turn, the burn. He gets deleted, but that is exactly what Fnatic wanted.
He sees the goal in his sight. Many true backs gonna allow Jackstrol to body block. Can they take this going low? 4K dropping. Broxah, hero moment. This is your chance. 3K getting ever lower. Who's actually gonna take it? And these Broxah gets it! Are you kidding me?
Needs to find a room prison. They've lost one in reply. Defensive flash. Caps and Broxah are trying to run him down. Sonic wave. If it's Broxah brings it home.
We're gonna try for another one though. This one, Body Slam stops the queue. Here comes Bowland as well. 2v1. Broxah may have been up more than he can shoot. A health bar putting down. The kick. The kill. The second. That was gorgeous. And there's another one coming as Jackie Love also falls. Fnatic win the skirmish.
Broxah is an absolute monster for Fnatic.
Raiders is one of the best junglers in Europe at the moment. Thank you for joining us, Broxah. And every time I see that play against IG, like my heart races, I get shivers. How did it feel in that moment to make a play like that?
It felt really great being on the biggest stage of them all, and making such a great play on one of my favorite champions. And yeah, I don't know, I've seen that play like hundreds of times already. I think it just keeps popping up in my face, and it's really great.
Just a pop over there, pop over there. It just keeps appearing everywhere.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Broxah. And now to our longest-serving member of Fnatic. Who else could it be? It's the AD carry superstar. It's Rekkles.
Winter's bite tags Yarden. Wonder survives for a few seconds longer. The bomb explodes. It's a triple.
He's going for the penta.
Spring split MVP. Trying to find more. Doesn't want to go toe to toe. Shot back and forward. He's
gonna kill it. That's the penta.
Going forward. The quadra. The penta kill. Yarden gets run down, stunned down.
He's going again.
For Rekkles. Are you kidding me?
Penta kill!
Take him down. Let me wanting to get away, but that should not happen. Broxah wants to provide the CC.
Buys a bit of time with the stopwatch. Upset now looking for a little bit more. Nuke Duck does try to get out, but he's so low. Shaka cut down by Rekkles. In their final moments, that's the quadra. He wants the penta, but upset.
Thank you very much for joining us, Rekkles. So we saw 2 pentas in the spring finals, no pentas in the summer finals. Are you getting worse at AD carry? What's happening?
Well, I didn't really get the chance to play in summer, so there weren't that many opportunities to get a penta, but I think from this year onwards, I'll probably be playing every game, so there are a lot of chances for me to get another one.
Are you going to bring the Janna back? Because that was my favorite game to watch.
Honestly, I would love to, because I actually think my Janna is like one of the best Jannas out there, but it was a little bit unfair to play like 80 carry Janna. I think if you actually put me on support Janna and put Hilly on something 80 carry, I don't know if you're up for that, but I could do a great job, I think.
Should definitely do that. I'm just trying to imagine like you as Janna, Perks playing like Lulu or something stupid as well. It's just like support wars in the bottom lane. But we'll get across towards the sort of the off-season news in a little bit. For now, we're going to talk about some of the giveaways we are doing on the stream today. They include Fnatic gear, such as the Streak keyboards, the Clutch and the Flick mice, are used by all of the Fnatic players here. You all, like, some excitement about come on, it's a cool mouse. Yeah.
I mean, they are. I mean, I use
the mouse.
Yeah, I use them
is
too.
It a good mouse?
It is absolutely. It's
Excellent.
fantastic. The keyboard too.
And if you get it in a giveaway, it's very good as well. Also up for grabs is Fnatic's brand new Blackline outerwear jacket and the Squad Pro backpack, as well as the World's 2018 commemorative package, which is a limited edition. Only 500 of them are going to be sold. So make sure you jump on over to shop.fnatic.com to get your hands on one of those. All you have to do to enter the giveaways tonight is click on Bwippo's face. And not that Bwippo face over there, It's the one in the bottom right corner of your screen. It will pop up whenever we're doing a giveaway. If you click on it, you enter into the giveaway. Everyone's just poking your face as much as they can now with it. It's amazing. The first giveaway is live right now, and it's for a pair of the Fnatic Crystallize Air Jordan 1s, the purple ones. Broxer was talking about them earlier. He thinks they look dope. I think they look amazing. Overall, some of the best shoes I've seen in esports. Be sure to get your entries in now, and there'll be many more giveaway drops throughout the show, and I'll always call them up when they are going to happen, so make sure you stick around. Guys, that's sort of groundwork out of the way. Let's talk about 2018, because what a season it was for Fnatic, what a season it was for European League of Legends. Really solidified ourselves as the best region in the world, obviously, and you guys were a massive part of that. How did it feel to be part of that Fnatic squad? We'll start with you, Reckless.
Sort of 2015-ish, but a little bit better, I would say. And most people know that 2015 was like probably the best team, other than the one last year then, that was like here ever in the West. So I think it was a very special feeling, and obviously I would have loved it to continue this year as well, but I think some changes were needed, some weren't, but in the end I feel like everyone's kind of happy with what we got, and I think we can make this work, no problem, and we're coming in as like maybe not the team that everyone expects us like to be, but I think we're going to be great in the end anyways.
I've been through enough seasons of watching Fnatic that I know you can never underestimate them, and when you do, that's when you fail. We'll talk much more about the off-season, some of the changes that come up in a little bit. For now, let's recap that 2018 season, because it was a barnstormer. What a year it was for you guys. So, like, a roller coaster of emotion for you all. Like, you had the highs of spring and summer split finals, then you had the lows of making it to the finals in Worlds and not quite being able to take it home. Reckless, I'd already asked you about sort of how the emotional turmoil was across the season. Let's talk to the rest of you guys as well. How did it feel to be part of this big Fnatic team that was really the hope of Europe?
Well, at the end of the year, we reviewed it with the team, and I think we all came to the conclusion that not only was this the best year competitively for everyone, but also just personally, because we've had a really good year, had a really good time together. Everyone connected very well outside the game, so it was just a blast being part of the team.
That's actually really inspiring to hear as well, because a lot of the time you look at a team and you think it's just it's a sum of its parts, right? That each of you are professionals, you come in, it's a business relationship, you work together, but it's quite inspiring to hear that you were all closer than that. It's much more close-knit than that. Do you think that's part of why Fnatic were so successful last year, Brippo?
Yeah, I think so. I think that people trusting each other and feeling a personal bond to putting in the time necessary to be as good as we were. Because I feel like one of the reasons was the amount of hours we put in practicing. And I feel like that came from, we all understood what we wanted more than anything, which is winning, obviously. But we were also prepared to sacrifice what we wanted outside of winning into more time for practice. And I honestly think that helped us push past the limit.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I think, especially for you, there was a massive dilemma in spring as well, where Soaz got injured and you had to sub in, and there was some community backlash, and then you came in as the main sort of top laner for a lot of the summer split as well. How did that feel for you, and how was it to be involved in that sort of process?
Well, I played bot lane in summer, so.
Oh yeah, bot lane, yeah.
But honestly, for me, it was a surprise. I've always thought about it, right? And in the moment, I wasn't sure if I deserved it, because I only played 2 games in the regular split, and it was kind of difficult for me to just be like, okay, I'm here in the finals, I'm just going to, take credit for everything. And I didn't really want to do that, which, spoiler alert, I did end up doing. But from my perspective, it was just more like Joey and the coaching staff in general really made sure that I was prepared. So even before that, I think I was a viable option, even if there wasn't an incident. I'm not saying that it would have been the better one or not, but I feel like coaching staff prepared me for the worst case, and ended up happening, but I was prepared. So I just want to thank coaching staff to, lead me into a successful year.
Thank you, Mr. Youngbuck. We'll end with here. Hillesang, I want to ask a little bit about how you guys were so consistent last year, because you won spring, you won summer, you were across the year just the best team in the ULCS, and we saw teams like Vitality lose a bunch of games and then go on a 12-game winning spree. You saw Misfits start to rise, go 9-0 and then fall down. What was it about Fnatic that really kept you guys so consistent?
I don't know what was in-game, for example, but I think outside of the game we had a really good relationship between players and coaching staff, and how we approached the game reviews and how we approach the day in general, I think was, I don't know if it's in other teams, but in my past it wasn't like that, and I think this is one of the reasons. For example, like with presentations and scouting other teams, we had like really good scouting and studying enemy teams, and I think that was probably the main reason why we are so consistent.
Again, it seems to come down to this sort of it's the interpersonal relationships rather than all of you just being very good players. It's the backroom staff. It's how you work together as a team. It's how you prepare for games.
I think we also just as individuals play like a lot more solo queue than probably the most of the teams, and this obviously pays off that we are like individually very good, and with a good coaching staff, it's just the best we can have.
It's working out well for you. I hope it works out well in 2019 as well. Brox, I want to talk to you a little bit. You've been on Fnatic for just over 2 years now. You were with Fnatic Academy beforehand. You've kind of seen Fnatic mold and grow through those couple of years. How do you think 2018 compared to years past and possibly to the future?
Well, at least for me, it has been a pretty crazy ride so far because, well, I started in the academy team, then I got onto the main team, and we got 2 third places along with quarters at Worlds. Then we come into 2019, we make some changes. And then it gets even better than that. We get 2 first places, semis at MSI, finals at Worlds. Like, it has been really, really, really crazy. I think that's the only word that can really describe it. So yeah, I've definitely been enjoying my time in Fnatic so far, and it has been cool, ending up on this team, which has also helped me personally a lot. Like my career completely skyrocketed after I joined the team. So it has been really, really awesome.
Let's talk a little bit about Worlds as well then, because you said, of course, obviously you guys made it to the finals, and I'm sure all of Europe is very proud of you guys for doing that. How was it having to spend that long in Korea, 2 months, a long stretch? You finished 2 splits as well, and you even went to All-Stars afterwards, Brox. How much of a mental toll did that take on you guys?
I think it was a big learning experience for everyone, because the thing is, when you're at these big tournaments, the only thing that is on your mind for the most part is just League of Legends. Like, you rarely think about anything else. And for me personally, like, for example, when I was in the gym in the morning, like, at one point I almost stopped going to the gym entirely because I just couldn't focus on anything else than League, and I think that really took a toll on everyone, and it was a big learning experience because I think like at the end of it, we had all just been playing so much for so long, and I think we kind of overdid it, and that's something we can use for the future, and now we know like how to manage that time and how to make sure that we don't, I'm not sure if I would call it burnout, but that we make sure that we are in the best possible spot also late in the tournament.
Okay. Reckless, you are a big advocate of taking some time out, like you deliberately benched yourself from the team. Do you think that part of that was burnout? Do you think part of that was fatigue and you needed the time out to sort of come back?
No, I just didn't want us to lose every game in LCS, so I just benched myself.
That's a good decision. That's a good
I think my mage performance is not that great, so when I saw that it was like going crazy after the patch they released for the first week of summer, I just thought that if I were to continue, we wouldn't end first or second, and I think ending first or second is really important because then you basically, at least in my eyes, get the free finals since you get to see your opponents and the opponents don't get to see you. But at the same time, I think my team was good enough, so we probably would have won anyways. They could have carried me, I think, 4v5. It was just easier to sit on the side and watch them actually like play some League of Legends rather than just dragging over the finish line.
I think it's admirable as well. Like it's very hard to take a step back and say what's best for the team as opposed to what's best for me. And I think that's the kind of attitude I get out of all of you, right? Like it's about what's best for the team. It's about putting the right foot forward, even if it means that you're not involved or you have to play tanks or you have to play fight every game, right? We've talked a lot about sort of this friendship atmosphere. I'm kind of wondering how you're going to take it into 2019. And like Joey, you seem to have been a big proponent of the preparation in the back room, like the way that you guys are getting ready for 2019. How do you take this attitude that you have right now into the new season?
Well, we've already started playing board games, card games, the Genius, something we did a lot last year. And that's really the thing that keeps bonding us because it's fun games outside of the game that we just sit around the table, get together and try to deceive each other a bit, try to make friends and enemies, but all in good spirits.
A final question just before we move on, and it's a little bit of a tough question. I apologize for asking it, but I feel we have to know. Like, losing Worlds Finals 3-0, when you really came into it as either equals or possibly even favorites for that finals after seeing your performance against IG before, how did it affect you guys and how long did it take for you to get over that? I'm going to actually ask all of you for an answer on this one because I think it's a very personal experience. So we'll start with you.
Well, actually the week before the finals were really rough on us, and that's where you could actually see that the fatigue really kicked in. But we were hoping that IG was facing similar issues because they've been going through the same thing. Sadly, that was not really the case, and I think maybe in a different meta or on a different day we could put up a much better fight, but the reality is that we didn't, and the better team won.
Understand?
I agree with what Joey said, and there was another question: how did we go over
Yeah, how
it?
did you recover afterwards?
Yes, and I don't think I have gone over it yet. Like when I watched the video, I was like really happy, but then I realized it didn't end up that happy, and it brought me down. But I still love the experience and all what we did as a team, and maybe the next year I will go over it or something. Like being together just helps. So
Excellent. Whipper?
Honestly, at the moment itself, I was pretty devastated because I was pretty confident that we could take it. I think everyone was really. They at least had a notion, right? We had the recognition that it was possible. And I feel like that's something that, honestly, looking at Worlds Finals history, isn't actually a given. So that alone gave us so much hope. And honestly, like losing was pretty devastating. I don't think I'll ever cry again over losing a match, but I actually did on the way home. Like it was really, really tough on me because I just feel like I was put in a starter as well, right? So I feel like that's always like pressure that was on me in 2018 is that if I did perform poorly, not only did I like ruin the chances of my team, I also denied the opportunity for Soaz to show up and play his game. The way I recovered was just taking an off-season off and just trying to, you know, just catch up with family, spend some time with my girlfriend, and just, you know, still play, stay up to date, understand what's going on with the game. Luckily for us, not too many changes came in the preseason here, so I think coming into next season, we're still going to be pretty strong. So I think recovering shouldn't be a problem for us.
Roxa?
Well, personally, I felt really crushed after the final. I feel like I handled the emotions pretty well while we were in the middle of the series, but I still remember how it felt walking out of the sound booth, and then I hear the crowd completely explode, and having to walk away from that was really, really crushing. And yeah, after that, it took me a few days to start even acting normal again, because I was just, you know, so down. I didn't want to talk with anyone. I was really depressed. But yeah, it helped a lot because I had my mom there trying to cheer me up. Us teammates were there for each other, trying to cheer one another up. But yeah, more than anything, like we said, I also just needed some time off, some time to think and actually realize that while this was a really crushing experience and one of the toughest experiences I've had, it was also the coolest because being on the stage for the opening ceremony was, in reality, completely insane. Like, it's one of the best things I've experienced, and that's also what makes it so crushing, I feel like, because it started so awesome and then it ends in such a depressing fashion.
Reckless, we heard in the video you said it's both a trophy and not a trophy. Like, if I lose this year, I'm coming back next year. Do you still feel like that?
Yeah, actually, that's one of the reasons why I felt like I recovered so fast, because, like, normally you would see one of these teams that go really far having a player that's, like, completely carrying the team. And I know some fans believe that that was the case with Caps, but I know everyone of us and the ones that are, like, behind the scenes see the truth, and the truth is that we were just like a really, really good team, and everyone's putting in their effort, or their fair share of the effort. So I was really fast to recover because I thought we could just do it again this year. I didn't see why we couldn't. Like, I don't think swapping players would change anything. I think as long as we keep the atmosphere great and the process is working well, then there's no reason for us not to make it again. So recovery was pretty good, but in the moment, obviously, it felt like, you know, maybe something that I missed out on. We should have won. I think we should have just won. So it was a bit saddening, but in the end, I feel like we can just do it all over again, so that's okay.
Come back stronger. That's the hope. Like, I'm sure all of EU hopes that, and all of EU is like incredibly proud of you guys for last year as well. So well done, lads. I was shouting so much at home. We're going to move on, but to commemorate all of your amazing Worlds runs, Fnatic are releasing a 2018 Worlds pack, which includes a special commemorative champion hoodie, a commemorative photo book, which looks like this amazing photo book here with photos in it, and some exclusive Worlds tissues if you do need to wipe your eyes because you've been crying a little bit. It's not what I use tissues for, but use it for your own sort of things. There are only 500 of these packs available, so make sure you jump on over to shop.fnatic.com. We are going to give one lucky viewer one of the commemorative hoodies. So if you want to win it, you know what you need to do? Click on Bwipo's face. Click on Bwipo's face down in the corner. Poke him. Can you just poke him for me, please? Enter the giveaway. There we are. Enter the giveaway. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do to enter the giveaway. So, guys, 2018 was an incredible season for you all. But there's been a little bit of a change in the tides. Obviously, we lost your mid laner. So now we have to announce Fnatic's new mid laner. And here he comes. Well, welcome, Nemesis. Obviously, congratulations on joining Fnatic. How does it feel to be sitting here amongst all of these players? And Youngblood.
It is great to be surrounded with players that I respect, and I think they're good.
Okay. Do you think that you're going to be able to sort of continue the EU mid legacy that's come out of Fnatic?
Yes.
It's a strong answer. It's a strong answer. You talked a lot about like Expeke, Forbiven, Caps. Like, where would you rank yourself right now if you were to compare yourself like against a Forbiven or against the Caps?
Well, I think out of those three, Caps showed the best achievements and the best play of mid lane. So I would put Caps first still right now, and after that I would put myself if I can show good things.
Are you concerned at all about being on a stage? Like you've played in the LVP, but the LCS, the LEC stage is a little bit bigger. You're in front of a bigger audience against stronger players. Are you concerned about the atmosphere at all?
No, I'm confident that I can perform on standards that are put to me in Fnatic. So I don't feel pressure.
Excellent. I'm sure there's a lot of Fnatic fans out in the audience who are very happy to hear that as well. How has practice been going with the team? How long have you been practicing here with them? How are scrims going? How do you feel as part of the team?
I've been here for like 1 week or something, maybe a bit more. Practice is going great. Yeah? Yeah.
You beating all the mids at the moment? You're winning every game? That's the yes of a man who doesn't want to say, yes, I'm better than everyone else. That's what's happened right there. Sorry. What are your expectations coming into the split? Like, for you, what would you be satisfied with in this split?
First place every split.
Yeah? Including playoffs? You have to win everything?
Yes.
MSI?
Yes.
You have to win MSI?
Yes.
You have to win Worlds?
Yes.
And that's the expectation?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? It's like that's the minimum requirement for a good year for Fnatic.
Well, I did tell the players the minimum requirement is MSI final and World final with 2 split wins.
He's saying first place. That's slightly different to making it to a final.
And I respect that very much. I respect that.
Okay. Everyone else agree?
Yeah.
Win everything?
Yeah, I think after being to a World Finals, it's like hard to go into Worlds and not, put the requirement of a win. Yeah. I feel like then you're just like underplaying yourself at this point.
I think the important one is Rift Rivals, obviously, right? We have to win Rift Rivals. It's the most important event. So who are you looking forward to playing against the most? Either in the LEC or just generally? Who do you aspire to play against?
Well, if we're talking about mid lane, then I would put Caps, since I have the most respect for him.
Okay.
I thought he was the best mid the last 2 years, or like since he joined Fnatic, even before. So I want to play against him the most.
Is that purely because you respect him and you think he's the best player, or is there a little bit of a grudge, I need to prove I'm better than you as well?
No, it's mostly just respect, since I think he's a good player.
So do you think he'll beat you in the 1v1?
No, I never said it.
Just asking. If you think he's the best player, then you're beneath him.
No, I said he's the best player for the last 2 years.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
best player now.
that makes a lot more sense, Nemesis. In terms of not mid laners, who else are you looking forward to playing? Because you talked about having played with Mickey before.
Yeah, I look forward playing against him
Yeah?
always. And Crowny from SK, a crown shot.
Yes, he's crown shot now. Isn't
Because
he? I
he's
knew him
also
as Crowny
a
as well.
Slovenian, so.
What about your other Mad Lions teammates like Werlib,
And
Selfmade?
Selfmade.
Yeah.
Yeah, also looking forward to play against them.
Okay. I hear good things about SK at the moment, so we'll see. We'll talk a little bit more about sort of the other teams later on. I have a couple of questions that people have put in from the hashtag LIA Live. If you guys do want to tweet at us or put it in Twitch chat, you can ask questions to all of the players today, as you can see in the little lower third beneath me. First question. There's a long history about mid laners on Fnatic liking certain types of juice. Now, Liap0 on Instagram said, well, Caps likes orange juice. Does Nemesis like apple juice?
Yes, I do.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Do you need it to win games? Because that was the whole thing with Caps. He couldn't win unless he had his orange juice.
Well, I guess we will see.
Okay. You're going to hide his orange juice when you play against him. Okay. The second question is from Diego Vaz, 98 on Instagram as well. It's, with Nemesis, will the team style change much from last year? I'm going to ask you if you think you're changing the style much or if you're trying to adapt, and then we'll talk to the rest of the team as well.
I think it's a hard question, but I think it changes to some extent.
Okay.
I think every player is different, and if you replace a player, it changes.
How do you think it changes for you then? What's different about you and Caps?
Hard to say.
Okay.
I think I'm maybe more controlled.
Okay. So less volatile, less likely to die in lane.
He's more explosive, more like win hard or lose, and I'm more like controlled, I would say.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Youngblood?
Yeah, I think first of all, if you're part of Fnatic, then you need to be able to play around every person and win. So will we be playing around mid lane? Probably a couple of games, but we are also capable of just adapting our play style and play for bot. What was the other question? About Caps being more controlled and about top lane now, or Beepo starting. But I think, I think, okay, that's toxic. Beepo, stop laughing at me.
It's alright, you can be toxic here.
No, I mean, that's not meant in a bad way, because you were both in tank duty for good reason. Now I'm but no, I think that's true. Like, I think Caps has been very creative and very explosive, but Nemesis is more controlled, so we can actually incorporate him more in the macro and being more clean as a team.
Okay, well, congratulations on joining the team, Nemesis. I look forward to seeing you in the LEC this year. I'm sure it's going to be very exciting. I'm sure all of you guys are looking forward to working with Nemesis as well. You have to say yes. You're being recorded. Yes. All right, let's move on a little bit. We've talked about Nemesis joining. We talked about 2018. Let's talk about Fnatic's off-season. And there's one big elephant in the room I think we have to start off with, and that was, Broxer, how many times did you play Pop on your stream in the off-season? Like 10, 15, 20? No, let's talk about Caps, guys. Let's talk about Caps.
Nah, I'm really disappointed.
I'm sorry. Caps left to go to G2. To a lot of fans and a lot of people in Europe, it felt almost like a kick in the face to Fnatic, right? Like you make it to Worlds Finals and Caps is now leaving the team and you have to find a new mid laner when really lots of people would think you guys as a 5 could have made it to Worlds. I'm going to ask, what were your initial reactions to Caps leaving? We'll start with you.
Most of all surprised, because the move itself doesn't make a lot of sense. If you want to win Worlds, you leave Fnatic for G2. Perks moving AD carry. I just don't really see it. I felt like if we had another year, we would have probably made the World Finals again and gotten our second chance. But it's also something that motivates us a lot, because it does feel a little bit like a kick in the face, a bit unexpected. So now we definitely want to beat Caps.
Okay. Is that a sentiment shared amongst everyone else?
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily spoke with anyone before leaving. I think he just kind of left and then everyone figured it out afterwards.
Okay.
So it was, yeah, very unexpected. I would say it wasn't made in a nice way from his side.
Okay.
And yeah, it's hard to like respect him after that, after everything we've done as well. But at the same time, I can't say much, right, because I've done it myself back in the day. So I can understand, that you maybe think like the grass is green on the other side, but I told him that he shouldn't go, and he still didn't take my advice into consideration. So I was very disappointed to see that we weren't better friends than that.
Okay. Has anyone talked to him since he's gone over to G2? Do you guys talk at all?
Well, I was at All Stars and got to talk a lot with Caps there. We traveled there, talked a lot at the event. And yeah, I mean, we can still talk to him. It's not like there's huge grudges between us, but obviously, like there was a lot of confusion for me as well when I heard that out of any team he would consider joining, it was G2, because if it was, I don't know, whichever NA team, if you wanted to try something completely different and swap region, then I would respect it a bit more. But joining an EU team that has, at least the past year, been weaker than us, just seems really odd, especially considering that we have just played the World's final. So I was really confused. I didn't really understand at first, but after talking to him at All Stars, it just seems like the way he plays in game fits even more than I thought with his personality. That he gets some crazy ideas once in a while. This time around, he had the feeling that he wanted to change things up. He wanted to try something new, and thought it would be really interesting to try to see how Perkz would do an AD carry and play on an entirely new team. And that's just something we have to respect.
It will be really interesting to see how Perkz does an AD carry, because that's like, if he fails, that's the worst role shot swap like ever. Like one of the best mids moving to AD carry and not being good would be awful. Anyone got anything they want to say more about G2 caps before we move on to perhaps lighter topics?
I mean, for me, I somewhat understood, because I feel like every team has issues. I think this is universal for every single team. And honestly, from a singular player perspective, I can understand that if you don't feel like you can change the issues in a team, you're not going to stay and just get dragged along by those issues if you feel like they're too much of an issue for you. Because at the end of the day, every team has their own quirks. We had our thing about playing around mid-bot, right? And if I had a problem with not seeing the light of day on a carry champion, for example, then I probably shouldn't sign another year with Fnatic. But that's the thing is maybe he feels like in G2, if there are any issues and the currently existing issues that he's aware of, he can change himself, and he can create a situation where he's happier playing for that team than here. And at the end of the day, I think that's pretty important. Like, I think you need to be happy with the team you're with.
Definitely.
And, if the only relief you're going to get for playing for a team is that win at the end of the day, that's only going to last so long until your week starts again and you're going to start a potentially miserable week of practice. So, again, we can only respect it that he left, and again, I'm satisfied and actually more than happy with the replacement we got so far. So honestly, you gotta smash him. Like, you just gotta show him that. I don't know. It was just a bad decision. I think everyone thinks it's a bad decision, but that doesn't mean we're not gonna make the most out of it and get as far as we did last year, if not further.
Oh, speaking of the replacement, let's talk a little bit about how Nemesis was picked up. But I want to just go all the way back to the initial scouting. What was it that drew you to Nemesis? How did you spot him?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we could choose between new talent or existing mid laners that have already shown that they're like rank 4 or 5 in the EU if we would sign them. But we're Fnatic, so we said that's not happening. We're going all the way, and we're going to try to find someone and actually make a top 3 mid laner out of him. And I would say so far it's been going extremely well. He's already showed different kinds of play styles, and it's starting to communicate a lot as well. A little bit shy in the beginning, but that makes a lot of sense coming into a team full of veterans as a challenger player. But he's definitely coming out of his shell.
Because you've definitely been on the edges of Challengers/LCS over the last few years. I cast you for 2 years in Challenger Series or in EU Masters. Do you think you needed that time to grow before your big break, Nemesis?
Well, even before I joined Mad Lions, I already thought that I deserved to be in LCS, but it was hard, and I guess I needed to go to a national league and show my skills there.
Right, it's worked out. I mean, you're in the biggest team in the league, biggest team perhaps in the world in terms of League of Legends. TSM's challenging you, but we don't really talk about NA anyway. So let's move on to some other off-season discussions. Whippo, I want to talk to you. You're now the starting top laner. There's no replacement, there's no sub. How does that make you feel coming into 2019?
All in all, pretty good. Makes me feel more there's less pressure on me, right? And I don't think that the pressure on me of SOAS being there, it was more like if I mess up, it would sting way more, because it was not only my chance. I already explained this; it was also his. So, I mean, I just hope that I can integrate some of the strategies that we pushed aside last year because it didn't work out for both of us, and I can reintegrate those into our arsenal, so we can potentially player more around top lane. You know, just throwing it out there. Maybe. Yeah. No, it's just I hope I can bring more to the team now that I'm starting top laner, and I can bring the, you know, you mentioned the champions and certain stuff. Like, I can just bring more to the team more comfortably. I don't have to compete. I don't have to set the bar on certain champions higher than someone else competing for the spot, right? Because, like, for example, if Soaz was better on like Sion and Urgot, and then I'm better on the other half of the champions, the coaching staff would always have to face the dilemma of, okay, if we're playing this player, we should be drafting these champions. And I feel like that took away some of the flexibility in our draft, which made it harder to draft in the end, like at the end of the day. And then I hope I can take that away by just proving to be the best on all across the board, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the hope in the end, isn't it? You want to be the best at every champion. Before we like round out this section of discussion, I just want to ask: anyone do anything cool in off season? Anyone go anywhere? Have a good holiday?
Chilling.
No, nor did I. I'd played computer games in my room for 3 months, so it was good fun. We're going to take a short break in just a second, but coming up, we're going to look at the future of the LEC, an entire new era for League of Legends in Europe, Fnatic's competition, and their chances of retaining the European dominance. We'll be doing more giveaways. We're revealing the 2019 jersey, which looks sick. Welcome back to Legends in Action Live, presented by OnePlus. Bwippo, you continue to amaze me with your faces. We're here at the Fnatic house, and as you can see, the guys are wearing the brand new 2019 Fnatic jerseys. How do they feel, guys?
I like them.
Yeah?
Yeah, feels pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have a sponsor at the front, no? Like, I don't feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think any other esports team that I know of at least had this.
I don't know. I don't
Like-
I don't like study the team's jersey.
Yeah, me neither. I haven't noticed it, so maybe I'm just. It's like it feels like more like a football team.
Yeah,
you know?
it feels like sport.
This is our
right?
sponsor, you
Exactly, exactly. And what a great sponsor it is to have as well. OnePlus, such a big brand to be sponsoring you guys. It's an incredible thing, isn't it, Proxer?
Yeah, I mean, it's great having sponsors help us out. Like, sponsors like OnePlus is the only reason we can be here. And we even had them as sponsors before. And yeah, I mean, even ever since then, I've been using their phone, so I'm glad to have them back. They have some nice phones. And
Yeah, you keep tweeting with the phone, like,
yeah.
taken with my OnePlus.
Exactly. I'm happy that they want to be part of our journey again.
And Nemesis, I know you had the phone before even joining Fnatic. Is it that good that you needed it?
Yeah, basically, ever since OnePlus got released, I actually heard so much good stuff about them, so I just went ahead and bought one. And I have no complaints, like everything is perfect, especially like the battery length and how fast it charges, just perfection.
That's really cool. To celebrate the partnership between Fnatic and OnePlus, we are giving away new OnePlus STs, not STS, which is what I said in the rehearsal, because that doesn't exist, just STs. They are signed by these guys to 2 lucky viewers, and 2 sets of OnePlus wireless headphones will be given away as well as 2 brand new Pro jerseys. You guys, we've talked about you using OnePlus phones for a while, seem to be really good for you guys. Are there any specific tips or tricks or things that you use on them that you really like?
Well, I came from Samsung before, and the thing I noticed first, I think, was the quality when watching videos and streams and stuff. Like, the quality was so much better than the phone I came from before. So actually, when I watch a stream or when I watch YouTube or whatever, like, it's just spot on. That part I was really impressed about specifically.
And good for watching your YouTube channel, hey, Box?
Yeah, good for watching my own streams as well. Like, it's perfect.
I could just imagine you streaming, and then you look down. Oh yeah, it was a good play.
Yeah, try to write pop in my chat and
in your chat.
all that good stuff.
If you guys do have anything you want to ask the players about the LEC or about anything at all, make sure you write in Twitch chat with the hashtag LIA Live or tweet at us with that as well, and we'll make sure to get around to your questions in a bit. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about the new direction for the EU LCS, now the LEC, and what that means for Fnatic as a team and for the pro players. I'm going to start off with a pretty easy question for you all. What do you think of the brand LEC?
It's a little bit difficult to get used to after so many years of LCS,
Yeah.
but I quite like it, yeah.
Yeah? What about it? Is it like what inspires you about it? Is it because it looks like a crown?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
kings.
yes, exactly.
Legacy. Dynasty.
Kings of Europe, yeah.
Like it's not just, of course, it's not just the name that has changed, right? We're in franchising, we have all of this new branding, we're trying to develop a symbiotic relationship with the teams. Do you think that's going to be able to help you guys move things forward?
Yeah. I mean, I look forward to it because, like, moving away from the NALCS, so LCS now, I feel like we were always kind of different in the sense that we were much more lighthearted about my better gameplay. Like, I'll throw it out there. Like, that's how I felt. Like, most people will probably agree with me. You don't have to, but in general, I feel like it's it was a very different vibe from NALCS, at least as a viewer back in the day when I was watching. And even when I was playing, I felt like if I would ever watch NALCS, it was a very much different vibe. So getting a rebranding and being our own league feels pretty good to me.
And do you think the franchising in particular, where it's teams trying to work together to like build brands and actually push the league forward, do you think that's a good step for us, Hillesang?
Yeah, I mean, I think more brands will come and everything is getting better when we became franchised, so everything becomes better.
It just means we all get to do cool adverts as well, which is the really important thing.
I would like to add something onto that, actually.
Yeah.
I really like that franchising gives organizations the opportunity to field way more new players. I think this is the year where there's the most new talent coming in. So many teams are just going away with the old players and are fine taking risks with more rookies, and I really love seeing that change.
Yeah, I think Excel's a great example of that, right? Like 10-man roster, a lot of them are, especially their academy team is mostly rookies and mostly unheard of rookies, if that makes sense. Like people that haven't been around the Challenger Series for that long.
Yeah, I think in the past it was just like recycling all the old players, and at some point you're like, okay, do I sign the 5th best top laner or 6th best top laner? But now there are so many organizations that just say, you know what, we're going to bring in someone new and then hope to just increase the ceiling of that player.
So something else that comes around with the change in the league is that I know, Broxy, you've been trying to do more streaming. You've got a YouTube channel. Reckless, you have a YouTube channel as well now. How much more streaming and stuff do you think you can do this year with having a little bit more freedom around the LEC?
I don't think it necessarily changes that much in terms of a time perspective as a player. Like for me personally, I already streamed a lot last year, and I think it's going to be hard to go further than that. And while the change in the league is really cool and franchising is really cool, we're still gonna work as hard. We're still gonna put in as many games. We're still gonna have as many meetings. And from a player perspective, in that sense, when it comes to the time we're being given, I don't think it's gonna change much. And I still think we're gonna have a really, really packed schedule filled up with a lot of League of Legends.
You're still gonna stream though, right? Because I need my pop.
I am still gonna stream.
Is anyone else thinking of starting streaming on the team? Me. Yeah. Whippo, you're gonna have Whippo Stash emotes? and Hiddy, you're gonna stream as well?
Yeah, I will try to stream more with better quality of stream and
Awesome.
just get better brand of myself. And
Are you getting Stash as well?
no, please.
Hilly
no.
Stash.
already has one.
Everyone has to have Stash by the end of it.
No.
I did get a question for you, Whippo, from one of the viewers saying, let me find out. Oh, doesn't say who it's from, but I'm gonna ask you the question anyway. During the LEC, will we see a comeback of the Whippo Stash?
I mean, I don't think so. Like, maybe for summer again if we make another bet, but I feel like it's at this point it's something I have to do with Joey together or like with someone. I feel like that's what made it funny. It's like we did it together. I feel like if I'm just doing it alone, it's kind of like...
I think it looked funny because you look stupid, I'll be honest. Like, yes, it was good that you both did it, but you didn't look good with a mustache. Right?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it looks really troll.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can wear it like an idiot, so it works out. It helped that I ran it down in the first game as well. Like, the first game I went on stage and I had the stash, I also just ran straight into the turret level 1 and died.
Stole all your skill.
It kind of... I had that emotion, though. I had that expression as well, so that kind of helped, I guess.
Will you ever bring that back, the stash?
Probably not. I would have to lose another bet
Yeah.
for that to come back because it was really bad.
Okay, we'll get you back on Euphoria soon then, so that we can lose some bets. How excited are you guys as well? Because LEC, it's not just the name that's changed. The whole studio's changed. It looks incredible. I assume you've been there for your media day and you've seen a lot of it. How excited are you to play on the new look stage and stuff in the LEC?
Well, I'm really excited to actually play a full split of top lane for once.
Yeah?
That'd be nice, you know? Like,
You
actually
say that now. We don't know what the meta's going to be.
Yeah,
at the end of
actually,
the
you know,
week.
play a split of top lane. I think that'd be nice. I mean, what the meta is, I'll adapt. You know, I think I've got enough tricks and shown plenty already. Feel like it'll solidify my place. Because for me, you know, I've played like the best of fives, the you know, world run, whatever. But I haven't like just consistently over a split been the best. At least not top lane. You know, maybe some people would argue bot lane, but kind of cheesed my way up there, didn't I? It was a great time though. Like it was, every week we had a new cheese pick for me. It was quite an experience, honestly. But yeah, it'd be great to just come into the top lane and actually stick there. You know, just I am the top laner now, and I'm staying there for the foreseeable future, unless Riot Games decides.
Two top. One
maybe
bot.
I need to mix it in and pull out another major too.
Funnel top lane?
Oh,
I can be your
funnel top,
support.
that would be disgusting. Oh, no. I never want funnel ever to come back in League of Legends. I hate it. Another question from one of our viewers. I haven't actually got the name, but it says, do you think the competition will be tougher this year because of franchising and because of the LEC?
Maybe in the long run. I think a lot of rosters have a lot of potential to become really good. But I think short term, there's so many changes that there's not going to be that many great teams. Like on paper, people think teams are going to be great, but I really think it takes time to build something strong. Same for us. I think it's going to take some time to get going. But yeah, probably in the long run, there will be some teams that are going to be really great.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the other teams in just a few minutes, so we'll get to that because that is a really... I've heard a lot of people say there's a few super teams around, so I'd really like your viewpoint on how things are going. Our next segment takes a closer look at who Fnatic are up against in the LEC, and there are obviously some old teams, but there are some new teams as well who are going to be trying really hard to take away your crown. And every time I say crown, kings, dynasty, legacy, inside I die a little bit, just a tiny bit. I love the idea, but I've said it too many times. Let's start off with G2 though. So G2 obviously took Caps away. They've got Perks in the bot lane now as well. They've got Mickey, Wonder in the top, and then Jankos. It seems like a very strong roster. Where do we want to start? Reckless?
So I think G2 is the kind of team that might be super good or not that great. And the reason is them having so many resource-hungry players. I don't think, for example, when Caps left us for G2, that he realized how much we were doing for him. I think he just thought that the G2 players on an individual skill level were better, like player to player, but I think he just didn't realize how much we were doing for him and how much, like, for example, Brox and Hilly was babying him and how much I was playing 1v2 just so Hilly could actually go baby him. And I don't think that's going to be the case in G2. So I think they're just the kind of team where either like someone just has to be the sacrifice and has to, sit back and let someone else carry, or they're just not going to be able to handle, everyone wanting to be the star of the show.
Interesting. They did bring Mickey in, of course, as well, who in the power player rankings that came out actually pipped you for your spot in the top 3, which was a surprise to many people, I'm sure. How do you feel about Mickey as a player when so many people are ranking him higher than you, even though you consistently beat him?
Well, I always respected to play against him because he was actually the only one support that was actually good. And like, okay.
Let me just message Jack Troll and Gorilla and Igna.
No, I mean before like Gorilla joined, before we became LSC, I honestly had the hard time only against him. But I wouldn't say that he was better than me. I wouldn't say I'm better than him. But I think that we made it to finals says a lot. Maybe people don't agree, but I don't care. That's their opinion. And I respect him, but I don't think he's better than me. So it's weird for me to see it, but as I said, I don't really mind it. Like people.
I think you're being diplomatic because I talked to Whippo about this earlier, and he's got some strong opinions.
I mean, let me put it this way.
That's his opinion.
I have to stand up for support, though. Like.
Hilly played with the top laner bot lane, and they couldn't take a game off of us. So they were 9-0, and then they play against the top laner going bot and lose the game, and then I don't know what happened after that. But let's not talk about it, I guess, because I think over the year 2018, I think you can make a very strong case that Hylissang's a better player. Even right now, after the year, if you want to say a fresh start, sure, you can give him it, but I'm confident that Hylissang will step up and show who's boss.
Coming back to the power rankings as well, of course, a big bit of drama was the fact that Perks was in the top 3 for AD carries. And I actually want to ask you about this Nemesis because he's trying to transfer his skills from mid lane into an AD carry role. Like, do you think that's something he'll be able to do easily? And do you think he'll be able to be one of the best AD carries in Europe?
Well, my personal opinion is that if a good mid laner role swaps to any other role in the game, he's gonna be good. But so I think Perks is gonna be like pretty good. That's my opinion.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Reckless?
Yeah, I mean, I've do kid with him over the years, so I know he's good. But I wouldn't put him over Upset. I think that's really unfair. Upset is actually like the second best AD in Europe after me. So the fact that he wasn't at least there just made me lose a little bit of respect maybe for the people that were making this one. But at the same time, I understand that, you know, hype needs to be built up, and Perks is one of the guys that brings the most.
Yeah. You have to... obviously, I was part of the expert panel. I'm not an expert, like we all know that. But for me, it was do I think he could be the best at the end of Spring Split? That was the question I was asked. And
I don't disagree. I just
wouldn't.
I just wouldn't put him instead of Upset. I think Upset, you know, no matter what, is going to be top 3. Then you could maybe even argue for myself or for Hans Sama in that case. But Upset is like, he's the real deal, you know. And I think it's a shame that he didn't even get any like recognition after last year's summer performance.
I totally agree, and the community agrees with you as well. Like, there's so many comments in those threads being like, Upset should be there, Upset should be there.
I think if anyone shouldn't be there, that's Hans, because he actually didn't get anywhere last year after having such a 2017 season.
I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
You know, you can call me out for flaming, but honestly, like he went from playing 5 games against SKT to nothing. You know,
didn't even make playoffs in summer.
Yeah, so
you got to be consistent if you're going to win these things. Okay, we'll move on to the final couple of questions on G2. Do we think they're going to win the title, or do you think they have a shot of winning the title? Whippo? That's a face.
I mean, they have a shot. I think everyone has a shot. It's competition after all. Everyone can win.
Do you think they're going to win?
Not everyone, like 6 teams maybe.
We're coming back to that. We are coming back to that.
All right.
I know he doesn't disagree. Like
no, I mean, of course I don't disagree. It's fact. But okay, like, let me put it this way. They have players that are individually strong enough to make it. But, and I'm going to make this prediction right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Perk shits the bed, the Caps is going to go AD carry, and it's going to go better for them. No word of a lie. I would not be surprised if it's in the back of their mind right now, because honestly, I'm 900% prepared for this guy shitting the bed completely, at least against the good players, because that's the thing. Sure, yeah, you can beat someone like EQ or something, but I could do that too, you know? Like, I was top laner, I went bot lane, I did it too, you know? That's the thing. My perspective, I've gone in there, I got a little gauge, you know? I got to feel what the bot lane was made of. Maybe I was cheesing with mages, but who cares, you know? Play is play. League of Legends is still League of Legends. But my point is that at the end of the day, he was a great mid laner, goes to AD carry. Is he going to be a great AD carry, or is he going to be a good one? Because if he's just going to be a good one, well, you know, he can stand in line to the next guy that's going to lose to Reckless, and I'm fine with that, you know? Like, I'll take it. Sure, that's one less mid laner to worry about, and that's one more guy that's going to get shit on by Martin, so...
It was a long way of saying they're not going to win the split.
No, I mean, okay. What point is asking the question if they're going to win the split if you're asking the team that obviously is going to win?
All right, we'll take you out of it, because I think if I asked any of you here, you'd say you're going to win.
I mean, okay, obviously is maybe... obviously
will they be in the finals? Will they be in the finals?
I mean, the finals, yeah, I can see them being in the finals. I mean, again... I think there's a few teams that can go finals. Okay. It all depends on how spring is. I think what's most important is actually summer and then 2020, because I actually think spring split will be a split where people will mostly try to gel with their new teams. Because again, Joey mentioned it. There's a lot of rookies coming in. There's a lot of new faces for new teams, and I think most teams will just try to gel. And you know, if they click and it all goes well immediately, then fair enough. But it has to keep going. And I feel like Vitality was a good example where that didn't happen last year in spring. They came out 7-0, I think, but then they didn't make the finish line, right? They won the sprint, but they didn't have any stamina left for the marathon. And I feel like that's going to be the same for teams like G2. Could be wrong. Hey, it's my opinion.
All right, so overall, at the end of spring split regular season, where are they? You're first. Are they second? Are they third? Are they fourth? Are they seventh? Are they 10th?
Very hard to say, I think.
I'm not going to hold you to this.
I mean, I feel like
really
we should discuss other teams first, so we have like a better idea, and then rank them. I think that's better.
We'll
like right now, like
we'll do that.
Too many teams in my mind.
We'll do that. We'll move on to the next team. Okay, we're going to talk about Misfits up next. Now, Misfits, one of the teams that a lot of people talked about as a super team. Like when they came out swinging. First week after free agency was announced, they picked up basically their entire roster. Huge names on this team: Soaz, Maxwell, Forbiven, Perk. It's not Perks, Hans Sama, it's Gorilla. It says Perks on there. I read what's in front of me, okay? Also, Perks has changed his look quite a lot, if that's what he's looking like at the moment. Let's talk about Soaz to start off with. Like, obviously, a loss for Fnatic, but it seemed like maybe it was his time to go.
For Soaz? Yeah, I mean, I think going into this season, we didn't want to have another 6-man roster. I think both Beepo and Soaz would prefer a 5-man roster. And it was very difficult for coaching staff throughout the year because what was happening was that Beepo was having slightly higher win rates in scrims, but it wouldn't always translate to stage. But I think at Worlds, Beepo really had a breakthrough and showed that he can actually perform really well on stage just like he did in the scrims.
Yeah. So that was the reasoning behind keeping Whippo over having Soaz still on the team?
Yeah, that it was. I mean, I just see a much brighter future for Beepo right now. He's still very young, very new, very hungry, so it made sense.
Makes sense. Let's talk about Gorilla as well, though, because he was a big pickup for the team, and a lot of people looked at him as like, just such a massive name in esports that he could really change the landscape for Misfits who have struggled in the last couple of splits. What do you think of Gorilla, Hennesang?
Well, when you say Gorilla, I always think of a Prey as well, as a duo. So it's hard for me to judge Gorilla on his own because Prey was he's such a unique AD carry that I don't think you can find in EU or such a thing. And it's very hard to judge his mechanical skill because he's not like insane mechanically. He's just a smart player, and that might translate in Europe, might not, because I've worked in the past when Koreans struggle to perform in Europe just because the culture is so different and even the language. I don't know if he has perfect English or not, but I heard that he can speak English.
He's pretty fluent as far as I know.
Yes. I just hope that he can find what he's looking for in his team, because I know Koreans look for like friendship and what he had with Prey. And if he finds it, he might be like the best support in Europe, might not. But if he doesn't find it, he'll probably be mid-tier support.
Okay,
easily.
so it would be like you, Mickey, then him, or even further down than that?
If he doesn't find it, he will be probably at the bottom even.
Wow. Okay, that would be a big fall from grace for him. Obviously, for Bivens come back across from North America as well, from Clutch, a player that used to play for Fnatic that was part of one of the best Fnatic rosters, 2015. How do you think NA has affected him, Reckless? Do you think he's still the same man he was?
Yeah, but I would say Misfits is going to be like the opposite of G2, where they have like no resource-hungry players, like no one to carry. Because when I played with Febiv and he was like almost too nice sometimes, he would just like give me everything. And I wasn't the carry back then. I was kind of similar to him, where I wanted him to be the carry and he wanted me to be the carry. And then in 2016, no one ended up carrying, so we didn't win anything. But I haven't seen him change in that regard, and I don't see Hans as like this big carry, AD carry that you would want to see maybe in a team like Misfits. So yeah, it's just like the complete opposite of G2 for me, Misfits, in that sense.
So I think like trying to work out who would carry on that team, like Max Law used to be quite an aggressive jungler, used to play a few.
Maybe in this meta, but if you think about like how League of Legends should work, where a jungler shouldn't be able to carry the game. Like, okay, early game is one thing, but like when it comes to the later stages, you need someone to like step up and make the big plays, and I don't think they have that guy. I think that's the big problem for them. But they have the big names, so maybe they can figure it out anyways. But
I also think like Maxwell's been known to be a bit emotional in the past as well. Soaz has fallen to that tendency as well. You wonder perhaps if they did lose a few games, whether the team would be able to stick together and have that gel, that fusion that you were talking about, that Gorilla will want, that family feel.
Usually you don't get that with Koreans, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Next up on the docket, though, it is the return of the Prodigal Sons of the EU LCS. They're into the LEC. It's Origin, it's Xpeke, it's the Fisher, it's the bromance we've always wanted, and they have a team as well. Lots of experience behind this team, but do you guys think that it's a team that can go far? Alfari, Cold, Nuke Duck, Patrick, and Mythy.
Should I? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So I actually think, at least for myself, like I'm more scared of the organization and the staff, or like the people behind the scenes, than the actual players.
Okay.
When I was having my media day at Riot, they were asking me a lot about Origin and how I was seeing, their players and their team, and I didn't really feel like they were even to be considered, to be like one of the top teams. But at the same time, I've seen a lot like about what they're doing behind the scenes, so maybe that can be enough to push them over the finish line. But player to player, if you compare to ourselves at least, I don't see how they would be able to take us down. But maybe their process is gonna be something that we haven't seen before, so they can be like a really unique team. But I don't think anyone can necessarily step up to our level in that regard either. So I don't see necessarily why they would be like our, opponent this spring split.
Do you think a lot of people are saying they're going to be a really good team because of the name? Like, it's Origin, right? They went from Challengers to...
That's basically what I mean. I think they just have so much like backing that people expect a lot of things from them, even though their players are not championship-winning players.
What are your thoughts, Broxer? Because Cold has consistently been like a middle to high tier jungler in EU, and on Unicorns of Love he didn't really get to prove that. Do you think he's going to be able to come back and actually prove that?
Well, I think already last split he proved that he's one of the better junglers in the league, and I believe I voted him in my top 3 as well at the end of the split when there was the all-pro team. So last split I did rate him highly, but for me he has always been really up and down, and he's a player that is pretty hard to judge. And this goes for many junglers, I feel like, because it's always so hard to say what a jungler does for the team, because it's such a team-dependent role, and he's not necessarily a carry jungler. He seems to be more of a guy that does a lot of work behind the scenes, and that's more of a supportive player, at least in my eyes. So yeah, it really depends on how this team gels together. I think having a jungler like him can be really, really beneficial if Alfarian, Nukedog, and Patrick can really step up. But I don't really see him as a big threat, like 1v1 jungle-wise.
But even then, we almost fall into the same issue as we did with Misfits, where I look at the team, it's like, do you have that one man who steps up and carries, right? Nukedog isn't really that mid laner. Alfari maybe is that top laner. Patrick hasn't shown us enough because he was on H2K and his whole team was collapsing around him, right? Like, I've seen him play well once or twice, but do you think we have that same issue here where there's no true carry on this team?
I think there is a good chance it could happen, yeah. I feel like all players look pretty stable, but it's hard to pick one that's like a superstar player, or like a highlight player that's gonna make the really crazy plays and gonna win you the games. Some of them have shown signs of that really peak level in the past, but you never know what's gonna come out. And a player like Patrick could also end up really going ham and just showing everyone what he's made of this year now that he has a much better team than last year.
I think to me, he's upset, but without the resources that were put into upset. I mean, the hope is that he excels and becomes a great AD carry, of course, because more competition is better for the league and it's better to make us all grow. Just as a final point for that team, Mithy, of course, come back from TSM, not with Sven anymore. They've separated that duo. How do you think he's going to be able to adapt to EU again?
I think that's a good question for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think he was extremely valuable on G2, and I think the year in NA was just an outlier. I think he's a tremendous support and a very good team leader inside and outside the game, knows a lot about the game. So I actually think he will bounce back and be at least a top 5 support in Europe.
Okay, do you think it's more because of his macro knowledge and his captain sort of role rather than his mechanical knowledge?
Absolutely, especially because he's paired with Patrick, who was in HTK, so I don't think his game knowledge is at the level of like a top 3 team, but Mithy can definitely take him there, and maybe also the other players. Actually, other than those 2 guys, I think that Origin is a team that could make the finals. If you compare them to a Fnatic, I would say, yeah, they may be a lighter version, so it's easy for us to say like that, they don't look that strong, but they are kind of team with the players that they have and the staff that they have, that they will be a pretty decent macro team. So compared to G2, G2 has really strong firepower, but probably will lack the macro. And then you have on the other side of the coin, you have Origin, very stable players, but probably more macro.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see if that is the storyline we see develop as well. And with the backing and the staff, like with Deficio there, you expect them to be a much more cerebral, knowledge-based team, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next team as well. It's Schalke 04, of course, the finalists in Summer Split. And then they only kept one of the players that they had, and they didn't keep the backroom staff as well. They've now got Odoamne, Memento, Abadage, Upset, and Ignar. Return of Ignar, Abadage coming up through the Challenger Series, Memento and Odoamne there as well. When I look at this team, I'm not that excited. I don't think Summer Split finalists. What do you guys think?
I think you should be pretty excited.
Yeah?
They have Dylan as well, you know. So
they do have Dylan.
So there's like a head start for them, because he's probably bringing most of the stuff that we worked on last year onto that team. So I wouldn't say that you should take Schalke too lightly. I would see them as like a pretty good team from the start, and if they can keep that up, then you could definitely see them going far.
What is it about them that you think makes them a good team?
I just think they have good players, and they have Upset, so you know, if they can make that thing work, then he will be able to carry a couple of games for sure.
Yeah. Anyone else got any opinions about Schalke?
I think they have a really strong bot lane.
Yeah.
Like, I think in general, like LEC got like better bot lanes this time, and yeah, Schalke is one of the strongest bot lane. Same with Origin.
Okay. Do you like we talked about Dylan taking some of the knowledge they've taken from Fnatic over to Schalke? Do you think that's going to have a huge impact for them when they've already had like strong backroom staff in the past?
I think it should, yeah. I think Schalke was already a very macro-heavy team, but they were falling short to us and always like a few steps behind. So if Dylan is able to transfer some of the knowledge that we built up last year, then I think Schalke will be a strong playoffs contender.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it then. Maybe I've underestimated them. Should have done my research beforehand. Let's move on to some of the other teams. I think one of the big teams we have to talk about is Vitality. Of course, bringing Mowgli in from the Afrika Freaks, their big change in the offseason. Broxer, Mowgli, he didn't have the best worlds, but he is known as a very, very strong jungler. Do you think this is an upgrade for Vitality?
I actually don't think it's an upgrade at all. I see Kigis as a better player than Mowgli, at least looking at last year. Because I think Kigis really ended up changing how Vitality played, and he was a big part of why they turned the end of their year around. And what I saw from Mowgli on Afrika Freaks was not really that impressive, honestly. Okay. So yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like he seems to be a strong player individually, but at the same time, I am not convinced, and he's gonna need to prove me wrong. But I really don't see him as a threat.
So you think Vitality have gone from being a semi-finalist, finalist contender to maybe low-tier playoffs, or do you think they can still push the top side?
I feel like it's really hard to say. Like generally about many of these teams, I feel like it's impossible to say whether they're going to end up second, third, or eighth.
Wow.
Because I feel like there's so many roster changes. Vitality obviously only made one, but I also personally saw Kigis as one of the really key points in that team. For Misfits, for example, it's an entirely new team. They have a lot of veterans, a lot of strong opinions, and it's the same thing. Like you really don't know what's going to come from them. So for me, not the most exciting change for Vitality, but yeah, we'll see.
Sometimes you have to wait and see, right? Especially with there's so much change in the LEC at the moment. Let's move on to Excel, the UK-based organization. They've been very vocal about having this 10-man roster. And I talked to Ferndog, their coach, and he's like, yeah, we have 3 or 4 positions that weekly we will switch out. Do you think that gives them an advantage?
I think in the long run it might give them an advantage, but I can also see it's really difficult to gel with your players if you're constantly switching between them. Other than that, I just really hope that Expect has a really good year, because it was actually very sad to see him on the sidelines last year. Yeah. In 2017, I felt like he was top 3 top laner in the West, and then in 2018 he didn't even find a new home. So it's good to have him back in the LEC.
It definitely is. He did play for Origin in the European Masters, of course, that grand trophy that we all want to win.
And he was with us at Worlds.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So that's Excel. Let's move on to SK Gaming. You played them actually in your first match. I'm not going to ask you to give away any draft secrets or anything, but what do you think about this team? Because they have kind of a mix of names that some people think are really strong, some people think might be a little bit weaker, and of course they have some old Mad Lions players on their team as well, Nemesis.
I think SK Gaming's biggest strength is their jungler. I would rate him really high in EU. Other than that, I see having Koreans bad thing. I think importing Koreans is really bad. At least personally, I think you have higher chances of doing success internationally with Europeans. So I think in like that sense, they have some weaknesses and some strengths.
Okay. Selfmade is, of course, the jungler for the team. Who played with you on Mad Lions. Very good jungler, as you say. And then Pyrion is the Korean mid laner that you'll be playing against. Coming into that match, do you think you're going to just be able to take down Pyrion? Do you think it's a 1v1 you'll win, or a mid lane battle you'll win?
I think Pyrion is one of the better mids in EU, so it's not like I can just roll over him like people are saying. But I still think I'm better.
I think Fnatic's better than SK as well.
Yeah.
Got to win El Clasico to kick it off, right? So final couple of teams. Rogue, the team that's based itself in Poland. Got Wadid back on that roster. It's a little bit of a mix of a roster. HeQ there as well. I know you really want to talk about HeQ. What do we think about Rogue in general, Whipper?
I mean, let's see if Kikis can cheese his way out of 10th place.
You think they're 10th?
I mean, maybe not 10th, but you got my point, right?
Yeah. No. Not playoffs.
Bottom, whatever. Like, you get my point. I don't think it's a playoffs team.
Okay.
I mean, I look forward to it, right? Like, they have Prophet, right?
Yeah.
Prophet's good. Prophet's actually a really good player, I think. Like I said, I don't think Prophet's going to carry his team out of. Maybe he gets into playoffs. I just don't really see it happening.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Rockat's story last year was, can Memento get them into playoffs by carrying a few games, and I feel like it'll be the same story this year. Can kick his cheese his way or carry his way, whichever you prefer. into a playoffs bye or not. I think it'll remain the same story.
Yeah, I'll make sure to write that down as my log line, my narrative whenever I talk about the team. Can kick cheese his way through the jungle and take Rogue to the playoffs. Final team, Splice. They picked up a couple of rookies. Norscaren's on their team, of course, alongside Humanoid, a mid laner who's kind of been in the same sort of position as you in like Challenger Series, pushing towards LCS for a little while. Do you have any thoughts about Humanoid?
I mean, he's been in the same position. Then I took over his spot. He's been doing great. All right. Didn't do as much as I did, but I think he's unpredictable, like how he will do. Like I could say that I can see like Abedage, how he's gonna do, but Humanoid is a bit more unpredictable. He could like either be good or bad.
So how do you think Abedage is going to do that?
Something in the middle.
Okay, so he's not the new EU mid great. He's kind of middling.
No.
Okay. That's our evaluation of all the teams, and I'm not going to ask you to do a tier list because every time I've tried to do that, you've said, "Oh, let's talk about something else. Let's not do tier list." But
I can throw it out there.
oh yeah, Whippo, hit us. Whippo's master tier list, and at the end you have to do one of your faces.
So
First place, Fnatic. Second place.
First place, Fnatic. Second place. There's no list anywhere here. Let me go off the top. Honestly, who are we going to play in the finals? Who do you think?
Origin or G2?
Origin or G2?
Maybe Schalke?
Maybe Schalke. I mean, honestly, I feel like it really depends on Caps. G2 depends on Caps, whether he transfers the knowledge he got from Fnatic or not. Like, I'm not convinced that he's going to do it unless they're, like, frustrated. Like, if I were a new player, and I can imagine, like, Caps, for example, he would just, like, if he's tilted, like, oh, why aren't we doing this? This is what I did back when we won in Fnatic, you know?
Okay.
And by then, maybe it's too late, and they're already too tilted to actually absorb the information and actually execute on it. So it's hard to say, but I'm going to give it to G2 because I think that's very reasonable.
So we've done the first two places.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a rematch of last year's spring. I think that's reasonable. Origin, I mean, Origin and Schalke, I think, are contenders for third, fourth.
Okay. No misfits?
And they're contenders. It's difficult to say because I feel like you're playing over a whole split, right? And you're going to have to tank some losses no matter what. No matter what team you are, you're going to have to expect that. At least you have to assume that you're going to tank some losses. Like, even for us, I think that it's reasonable to assume that we're going to go like 14-4 or you know, like 15-3. Like, this is a reasonable score. I was going to get you first place, but you're still going to have to tank those losses. And I feel like Misfits is a team that might struggle with that way more than we expect.
Okay, but you think they'll be in playoffs?
Certainly.
Okay, and then who's your last team in playoffs? We won't do the bottom four because you don't need to rank those.
What else is there left?
Splice, Vitality, SK.
Or SK, I
Yeah.
would say.
Vitality, SK. I mean, I think it's one of the two.
I feel like you have to say
Main rogue
Vitality,
so-
otherwise it's a little bit, you know.
I mean,
We have to. We have to say Vitality.
I mean,
You don't have a choice.
do I not?
You have,
No,
you have
yeah.
whatever choice you want, but you're wrong if you don't say Vitality.
No, you have a
I'll say
choice.
Vitality.
Okay, that's a good top six. We got there in the end. With that, we're going to take a short break, but stay tuned because coming up next, we have some 1v1s and we're going to give away even more goodies thanks to OnePlus and Fnatic Gear.
Only two. Like, you can only use the mouse.
Can I use two?
Hey, welcome back to Legends in Action Live. We're discussing the 1v1 tournament. It's going to be a simple knockout round. We're going to seed two people into the semi-finals, and I've decided, Young Buck, you're getting old. Haven't played professional League of Legends in a while. We'll put you straight through into the semi-finals, and we'll do the same with you, Nemesis, just because you're too good and you destroy anyone in round one anyway, right? So you two go straight through to the semi-finals, but you viewers at home get to decide who plays up in our first round. It's going to be Reckless against someone. There's a poll on your screen right now, so make sure you put in your votes. While we wait for that poll to round itself out, we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys do in your downtime. We have a quick video that we're going to play you about the Genius. So I'll be honest, I watched the whole video intently. I still don't understand what the Genius is at all. Can you explain what the Genius is?
I can try.
Okay.
So basically, a lot of games that we've been playing in the gaming house revolve around having teams, but not knowing who your teammates are and having to figure them out. And then I came across a Genius, which is a very similar concept, but it's basically like a board game on steroids. But the real thing is that going into the game, they don't even know what the game is going to be. There's a new game every week, and I just present them the rules, and then they have to figure out how they're going to win. So they're given a couple of minutes to like quickly calculate things or see what they want to alliance with or what their win conditions are, or what the best way of winning is. But just going into the meeting, they have no idea that it's happening. So you have to problem solve very quickly because you just get told what the rules are, how to win. Good luck.
And did collecting coins pay off for you in the end, Reckless?
It did.
Did you win?
Yes, I did.
You
well,
guys
I didn't win,
smurfing
but
on you.
we had like a regular season and a playoff. But I won the regular season.
Oh, okay.
And the last game of the regular season was a game where the one with the most coins won. And I took that one easily because I had like double the amount of the second person.
Did you guys have any like favorite games that you played throughout the Genius?
What did you call it? The food chain game?
The food chain game.
Yeah, we played that one yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
Day before yesterday?
1 or 2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
What's involved in the food chain game?
Well, you probably have more info than I.
Yeah. Well, since we were with 8 players, there.
Wait, this isn't like secrets, Fnatic secrets. We can't give it to Vitality or G2 if they're watching.
No, they can try this if they want.
I mean, they might win a split if they play it, but basically there's a food chain of animals, and there's 8 animals in the kingdom. 3 of them can actually eat other animals, and they all have a unique win condition. So there's, for example, it's a chameleon who can disguise as another animal. There is
Nico.
Yeah, there's a scorpion who, if he gets attacked, he actually kills the attacker. And then you have a dragon who has to kill someone every round. So there's
Shyvana,
yeah. Exactly, basically. At the start, everyone gets to see a card, so they know their role. And once they all know their role, they get the opportunity to look at one other player's animal.
Okay.
So they have a little bit of information to work with. But as you know, there's a chameleon, so his goal is just to survive and not get eaten. So he usually hides as the scorpion, and then people actually have to figure out who's telling the truth and like which animal they really are, because specific animals really want to find other specific animals.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of like that being the sort of thing that you guys would do together, but it's obviously something you have a lot of fun doing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Zombie game was also, I think, a pretty good hit, right?
Yeah, I think almost all of the games we've played in the Genius have been good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we can move on next because we've got our 1v1 tournament. We wanted to find out who was going to play up against Reckless. The fans have voted. All of you at home have voted, and it's Reckless versus Whippo. 66% of the vote. If you two would like to go over and start getting ready for us, so you can both stand up, walk towards the computers.
Yeah, sure.
Funnel you over towards that way. We're going to stay over here when we'll talk about the games and talk about the style. I believe that they said they were going to do hands reversed 1v1. So I'm not sure if that's going through. Whippo, wait, you're doing hands reversed? Okay, I can still hear him in my ear, but that's fine. We're gonna. Okay, do you guys do many 1v1s in the house? Like, is it something you do for warm up or practice or anything?
I had a point where I actually did a lot versus both Reckless and Caps as warm-ups to LCS games. Like when we would go on stage, we would always have a bit of time to use, and it was rarely normal 1v1 though. I played a few against Reckless at one point, but it was most often going into the Baron pit, setting up a wall of wards and throwing Mundo Cleavers,
Mundo Cleaver,
Yasuo Q, each other, whatever it was. So at least I know Reckless is experienced at that. How he is as a normal 1v1 is a bit harder for me to tell.
Okay. And Hillesang, you had any experience playing 1v1s?
Yeah, I mean, I used to play like on stage just to warm up, like against Caps, for example, just like the Mundo thingy or the Alistair headbutt, whoever hits first wins. Or sometimes even with Broxo duo, like duo versus duo, it was like me and Caps versus Whippo and Broxo, something like this. They were playing like Poppy and Trundle, and the win conditions was like to slam the enemy into the pillar of Trundle.
Wow.
Like it's so hard to do it together. But this type of 1-on-1 we were playing, not like serious ones, because nobody wants to like lose on stage and feel bad into the game, because we don't like to lose. So we avoided this and just play for fun and laugh.
Yeah. Nemesis, you're a 1v1 champion. You ready to beat everyone today?
In Slovenia, I was undefeated at 1v1 tournaments too, so I'm ready to win today.
In Slovenia, you're just undefeated at all LANs, all 1v1 tournaments. No one can touch you.
No.
Obviously, Mickey isn't the mechanical god that we thought he was.
Apparently not.
Are you looking forward to it, Young Buck?
Yeah, and I think Nemesis is actually lucky, because if he was undefeated, he actually dodged the strong side of the bracket this time. Because I would take him out.
Whippo, Reckless, you can start the game whenever you're ready, guys. We are ready from our point of view. We're going to... Mundo 1v1. Okay, this is going to be fun. First tower, 100 CS, first blood. No?
It's the Baron pit.
Oh, it's the Baron pit game. Okay. I don't know the rules to this game, so you guys are going to have to explain it.
Don't worry. We are experts.
Yeah.
Okay. Years of experience. You can see face of concentration there from Whippo. His afro slowly growing out. Okay. They're even comparing their runes and masters.
Take TP, flash,
It
TP,
has to
flash.
be the same,
No
so
flash
there's
is-
no cheating.
Okay,
Flash or flash?
that makes sense. But then where's the like?
Flash if you want.
I could go ignite flash. You could go exhaust barrier. Like there's the skill to picking your runes and masteries.
Well,
Summoners.
well, you have flash. So basically, how it works is that they both put wards at the middle of the Baron pit, and then they're one side each.
Okay.
You can compare to like I don't know tennis or whatever, where you have the line in the middle, then they stand on each side, and then they just throw cleavers at each other until someone dies. And the thing with the Mundo cleaver is that even when you throw it, you lose HP.
Yeah.
So if you keep throwing it and you miss every time, then you're actually gonna kill yourself at one point, even if you don't get hit, right? And then they do have the flash to actually dodge,
yeah.
but the thing is, they're only gonna have flash up once because the match is not gonna last 5 minutes. That's for sure.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Are you allowed to take like rejuve bead pots and stuff, or is it no items?
No items.
Nope, no items.
Okay.
Maybe boots, but that's up to them to discuss.
Okay. I can see that they're on Summoner's Rift, so hopefully we'll be able to jump into a POV soon. I think we're going to have to watch it from one of the players' points of view because our observer wasn't quite able to get set up. But the guys, we're a commentary team here, okay? This is a casting team for this. So I'm expecting input, I'm expecting excitement, I'm expecting you could do that dance you did in the intro video.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
That was a very unique opportunity to do that dance.
Oh, here we are. Here we are. Okay, so
what are we watching?
Who's who?
I think this is Beeper.
Who's pool party?
Beeper plays with lock camera.
I think we're watching
Beeper.
Prevo. We're watching Prevo. Okay.
So Reckless won the skin battle.
It's starting now. Let's go.
my
They both
god.
missed.
They're both missing.
Where's the juice?
Oh, that's awesome. The tension is mounting. Oh. Oh. Oh, Reckless going down. They've still got flash.
Mundo will go where he pleases.
Oh, Reckless is doomed. Reckless can't hit a single skill shot. Oh,
we
no.
Coming up. Oh,
Is Reckless playing on like 100 ping or something?
AD carry main or not AD carry. Oh, no.
You only have to right click
He
and
can
aim
still make it,
carry,
he can
right?
still
You don't
make
need
it.
to aim skill shots.
Bippo, you're choking.
Oh! One shot!
One more.
Oh!
Predict the flash. No.
It's so close.
Oh. No. Good.
Oh, we're back! This is the best League of Legends I've ever watched. Oh! Rubo with the win. Boxer Hillisan, can I ask you to go and start
Can we do
getting
again?
set up?
I want
Yeah,
that.
do the same. All Dr. Mundo volleyball.
I want
Let's
that.
go. Let's go. Well, that was intense. You guys, any strategies you learned from watching that? Any styles you might change for the future?
I think Bruce Lee once said that he fears the man who has trained the kick once.
Yeah.
I've been playing Mundo my entire career because I couldn't do much else. So
That was intense.
Oh, it was so close. It was
Come
so
on.
close.
You on you?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna flash like well, you know when I had flash right for the last one.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you're gonna throw
Well,
like
that's
something crazy.
why I fucking I am like I you know I threw it like really where you were gonna flash, but
Yeah.
I just want to say there was a portion in the middle where neither of you hit a Q for a very long time.
I mean, I was like 1 HP for a long time.
yeah,
That's true,
jukes.
I was just like, yeah.
I know I could tank one more, so I tanked it to try and get a better angle on him, but
And then you missed, yeah.
I was gonna lower.
Nemesis, did you learn anything from watching that? Any techniques you're going to take?
No, I think they're both bad. So
I look forward to seeing you play up against one of them in a little bit.
You gonna beat my Mundo?
Hillisan's actually got the headset on and everything. Like he's going hardcore.
Oh,
here.
he's going in.
It's like proper hardcore.
I'm just saying, Hilly, but you get really hobbled on that PC.
Oh yeah, because you guys playing at 60 FPS, right?
Yeah, he was. I think. No, I don't think so.
No,
I didn't check.
No, the one has 144.
Oh, I had 60 teleporting around.
I mean, then the player should just change it, 60-60, no? So it's fair.
Oh,
It's true.
fine, don't worry about it.
I mean, the person on the 144 Hertz lost though, right? So maybe it's a disadvantage in a cleaver game. You never know.
Maybe.
You never know.
We played an unfair game. I have years of experience, or months.
Yeah, he's the experienced one. I always just watch. Like almost before every game that we played, I think you and Caps played
we
Mundo,
played Mundo.
1 versus 1.
We also
Almost
did. We
every game.
also did 2v2. Poppy Trundle.
Yeah. And I
you
was,
have to knock him into the pillar.
Yeah. So like I would like me and Hilly would play against Brox and Caps. Because they're mid jungle, right? And we were just practicing the.
and I was the outsider. I would just either watch or warm up myself. But
Practice right clicking on things.
yeah,
We
exactly.
play Silver in the custom.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Mundo 1-1 is actually like quite. I think that's.
It's hype.
one
I
of
think
the-
it's super hype when you get to that point, right? Because I was
Yeah,
like, Reckless
that's-
going to kill
that's the
himself
best
if he
point.
chucks another cleaver, and
Yeah.
then it's just this close. So good, so good.
Comeback always works because he gets like all fired up, you know, he wastes his flash and he thinks he's
Yeah,
already
you got
won.
super cocky. Like,
I mean, I
you
was feeling
deserve-
it. You know,
you deserve to lose
one
at
of
the
them,
end.
I should have just gone for him and made him flash, but I felt like he was gonna flash into it, but I was disrespectful. Hilly was shouting, "Go for the flash predict!" So I just had to do it.
And
That's what I thought you would do, but you didn't.
I did. One of them I shot like way wide, but I mean, it was really NA. Oh, we're all doing Mundo now? Like, are we playing Mundo?
This is what it's become. It's not.
Wait,
it's
what
not
is
normal
Airy?
anymore.
It's cheating! Cheating! Disqualified!
Wait, what? As long as they take the
Who is
same
Airy?
thing. As long as they take the same thing, it's fine, right?
Yeah,
This
they
should
have
go-
Airy. Like, redo, remake.
No,
Ruby.
don't redo it.
Ruby Crystal.
Well, not Ruby Crystal. No potions. Just pinks. Pinks.
Do you need to go over and coach them quickly, Bravo?
Alright, you need to go pinks and award. But who is Airy? He's cheating.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I always
I
went
feel you
Ruby.
take this very seriously.
I mean, when it's just cheating. You agree on the same runes. Like, this is.
30 seconds until you
Wait,
It
who
is
are we
Cocky
watching
Kid.
now?
This is.
This must be Hilly, right?
This is Hilly, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Whippo, you have to cast for us.
I'm gonna cast
I
it.
actually think you would be a very good caster because you
On the
get so
stage,
excited.
Toxic Dr. Mundo comes into the stage, drops his pink, a little bit of NA pink placement, but that's okay. Can't see past their belly anyway.
Go NA, but don't buy pinks, man.
105. All right, starting 2, 3, 1. We're going in. First cleaver does connect by Toxic Dr. Mundo.
Airy.
Does have Airy.
Oh.
Cheating. Fine. The World Cup does connect. At least someone has one. Oh, straight into the area. Bonus damage is kicking in right here. Oh, trading one for one at this point. They're just beating each other's heads in. Just don't care. Oh, another one. Oh, they're just trading one for one. They
But
don't
Airy
care.
should be winning.
Oh, that was a whiff. Ooh. Starting to choke. Oh, what? He has nullifying orb. Disqualify him. What? He's losing with Airy and nullifying orb. Oh!
No way!
Finish him! Oh my god, Hillsang is insane.
Broxer deserved to lose. Broxer deserved to lose that.
My holy moly, I actually got destroyed.
Tries to cheat.
There was no counterplay there. There was just
Takes nullifying
absolute
orb.
Like I'm sweating right now, you know, after seeing that display of Mundo play out. I'm not sure if I want to play another Mundo on the go.
Yeah, theirs was much higher quality than
I'm saying with the World Cup, that hit home.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
You
can
said
we
it to yourself.
can we ban the skin from this tournament? Please ban the skin from the tournament. It's too feels bad, man.
I like the cup.
Yeah, but we don't have one, so what's the point?
No, well, it's actually really sad because Huli said when we got to the PCs we're going same runes. And the thing was, he was still playing on Dweebo's account while Reckless was locked out. So I just logged into my own account. I was like, okay, same runes, like, and we're just going in, right?
Sure, Boxer. We know you try to cheat your way through the system, and cheaters never win. Okay, and that's what happened. Okay. We're going to let you guys decide the votes for the semi-finals as well. So in the poll right now, you can decide who plays up against Nemesis next. Hillsang, Weepo, which one of you wants to take on Nemesis?
I mean, it depends. Is Mundo or what are we doing?
It's Mundo. It's Mundo all the way.
Mundo?
Okay, Mundo all the way.
Mundo all the way. I'm fine. I'll play Mundo 1v1 against him.
Yeah?
If you lose to me, you'll hear the rest of the
Yeah,
game.
you either play Nemesis or play Young Boy, right?
I want him Nemesis.
Someone needs to take out Joey for me.
Joey, it's too much pressure.
I heard that expect lost 1v1 to Joey at some point.
Yes.
And I don't think...
What was it?
I heard from that.
Renekton versus Renekton and GP against Kennen.
Wow.
That
Were
explains.
you playing Kennen or GP?
I was playing GP.
Oh.
The hard side of the matchup.
Yeah. I'm saying, you know, but if I heard from that, then I don't think expect ever heard the end.
But I'm just looking forward to when you lose in the Mundo matchup to him now.
I mean, at least I can say that it was a ping issue. FPS issue. Ping issue.
Huge
Whatever
FPS issue. Oh, like so. If you're like, do you play other like small League of Legends games when you're waiting for scrims and stuff? Do any of you play browser games and stuff like that? I know, like a lot of the NA guys play like Path of Exile and stuff while they're waiting to do stuff.
I think they play Path of Exile instead of League of
I mean,
Legends.
yeah, 144 Fortnite games in a week. Just saying. Like. No, none of you guys play any games.
I think. I mean, I don't. I'm like. I also set a rule for myself. I'm not gonna touch any other game whilst like the regular split is going on, or playoffs for that matter. So it was just because again, once I started the game, I kind of want to get interested and get good at it, right? And then you know get in that vicious cycle of like, I don't want to have to make a decision of when I fire up my PC. Is like, am I going to play League or play something else? It's always going to be League.
Yeah, makes sense. Whippo, I believe you have won the vote. You're going to play up against Nemesis.
All right, let's go.
Right now. Nemesis, if you want to go get set up.
Prepare for lose.
The votes were 50-50 until the last
PC do you want?
minute. So, now.
At least it's good to know that my teammates are, you know, like, especially you, like, I gotta say.
I predicted.
Yeah, that prediction was crazy.
It's crazy. You can see the support in him.
Yeah,
right?
the high-level mechanical support, man.
I think Whippo was kind of losing his cool, but I wasn't surprised that he beat me. That's all I can say.
So what are we thinking for this matchup? I've never seen Nemesis.
I've never seen him either in Mundo 101, but I know he has really good stutter steps, stutter mechanics, so to speak. So I would say that he probably has the upper hand because I suck at this, right?
Okay.
And I still brought Whippo down to 1 HP.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I wouldn't be too surprised if.
And I think we're going to see Whippo's point of view as well, so this could be really good.
Him in the final.
Yeah, because I just want to see him lose. I'll be honest. He's very cocky against Reckless. You can't do that. You can't do that to my man.
Everyone is, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone just gets cocky.
Exactly, right?
I bring them down. It's all good.
Do you guys how long is like your scrim cycle? Do you have like a couple of days off a week, 1 day off a week? How do you guys
usually one, but that's today, so.
Oh yeah, that sucks. You've had a full content day today, so.
Yeah, but that's usually how it is. We usually just like have 6 days where we are only about League of Legends, and then on the 7th they just pin everything that's not League of Legends related, even though it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a packed schedule, but that's the life, you know.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it, I would say.
Grind
It's
like
worth
10
it
months,
in the end.
right, yeah.
It's worth it in the end, so it's okay.
That's true. You guys can start whenever you're ready, by the way. Whippo, you can start whenever you're ready, mate. Oh, okay, we can't say. Sweet. Okay. Who's casting this one? Boxer?
Everyone.
Okay.
Yeah? Everyone
I'll do
join
my
in.
best. I'll make you proud.
Okay, you better.
Are you nervous, Joey, for semis?
Go, people, go!
Huh?
Ilya has everything to lose.
True, actually. You have no pressure.
Yes. I'm actually my choke.
I felt like I had no pressure too because I knew he practiced like the entire year against Caps. I was like, wait, this is nice. I can just chill.
So Nemesis is normal skin. Executioner is Whippo.
It's classic mid laners. They all want to be faker.
This is fake.
Is Nemesis baby faker? That's the question, right? No.
Actually, the best thing about Tim is what he said himself before. Like when you were asking him the question about whether the team will be different or not, and he answered that it will be. I think that's the reason why he and we will be like really good this year, because in many cases we're bringing a mid laner now. They would just drown in the pressure of replacing Caps and try to be Caps, but be a much worse version of Caps, and then that would just mean that we don't have a mid laner in the end. Meanwhile, Tim is already in the mindset that he is not Caps. He's here to do his own business and be himself, and I think that's the best approach anyone could have had. And I actually didn't expect him to have that approach, so I'm very happily surprised.
It's a super mature approach.
Very,
It's
right?
like 19
He's only
years
19,
old as
so
well,
it's crazy. Yeah.
3,
Go for it.
2, 1. That was a false start, by the way, Tim. Beppo, get closer to the line.
Whippo, get good.
Beppo,
Weaver's gonna have to practice a little bit to bring this one home, that's for sure.
Beppo, go closer.
Weaver's.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's a rough one.
It's so ugly.
Nemesis is too good, man.
It's so ugly.
Oh, Whippo, you are so bad.
Oh.
I don't get cocky now.
Yeah, stick to basics.
No, but the moves.
Oh!
You have flash,
That
bro.
was a quick one. That was a quick
You
one.
still had flash. Cosplaying double lift right there.
Yes.
It's disgusting. Do you guys want to go get ready? Hello,
Yep.
Tang, Young Buck.
That doesn't make me feel any good.
It wasn't even close.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I think I hit one cleaver, but it's fine. Fine, guys.
I told you, that's why
I didn't lose the Joey, so it doesn't matter.
That's why we had to put Nemesis straight through to semi-finals.
Yeah, no, but it's fine.
Good,
No, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of LCS games where I can get my revenge in. It's fine.
How did it feel? First big victory against an LEC player.
Easy.
It looked easy.
Our Mundo mechanics are just not good enough. Like, I need more Mundo games.
need
Joey,
some
draft Mundo! You need to pick more Mundo! I wasn't prepared. Like, come on, your job is to prepare me for the match.
You didn't have a PowerPoint presentation today.
Yeah, I needed the statistical analysis of where he was going to throw his cleavers. I feel like our coaching staff really messed up there.
Yeah, that's big issue.
I think the draft went wrong as well. I don't know where we were playing Mundo, but
Mundo with press the attack as well. It's like
I mean, I'm not sure what went wrong there. I mean, Conqueror was pretty good actually. Like, you just one next to it, right? Actually, 2 maybe. I don't know, man.
you actually look like more devastated than I thought you would right now. Like you're holding it in, and it's gonna come out
like
at some point.
it feels bad, you know. Come on, I'm the top laner. I'm supposed to be Mundo King, you know.
At least you lost to a mid laner, you know. I would be ashamed if you lost to AD carry.
If you lost to AD carry,
you'd be really ashamed if you lost to a support, wouldn't you?
No, actually, Hilly's sick. Actually, Hilly's pretty sick at this type of stuff. Me and Hilly, when we play Poppy Trundle, we're always smurfing. Should have played 2v2 Poppy Trundle. That would have been good. Poppy Trundle is so funny. Like, the amount of times where you see the Poppy charge nothing is beautiful. Yeah, but if Joey wins the finals and it's lost, you know, then none of us.
Yeah, it just shows that he should be the coach, right? He knows.
No,
he knows more than all of you.
It shows that we shouldn't be going on stage.
Well, we have our 6 men.
Doesn't even know how to set up the game.
Yeah. He's the one getting coached.
Oh,
he's trying to find
the yellow one is press the attack. Okay.
He's trying to find Dr. Mundo on the list because he hasn't played the game. Where's Dr. Mundo? Come on, Executioner Mundo. Wait, why? Like, I used Joey's strategy of using the ugliest skin to tilt the enemy player. And then now he turns his back on me.
Nemesis just went no skin. So.
I mean, he thinks he's faker.
That's exactly what Reckless said as well.
Yeah, it's a typical mid lane.
Yeah, mid lane thing. No skin. He thinks he's faker.
Faker means?
Well, he didn't last year.
Oh.
He was still the best.
I mean,
his team this year looks super strong though.
Nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's the best player in the world. Like, no questions asked. But still.
Apart from Youngbuck, if he wins.
I mean,
yeah.
At that stage, we're gonna have to go fly him into Korea.
He's the coach, so it doesn't count.
We're watching Hilly again.
Yeah.
I think we're watching Hilly.
That would actually be hilarious for All Stars, no? Like coaches playing against each other.
Yeah.
Koma versus
Youngbuck
and stuff like
that. They
that.
did a caster game.
Yeah, that would be really funny.
Ago, yeah.
Koma versus whatever.
Oh.
That'd be really.
Who do we want to watch? Do we want to watch Hilly or?
Oh, but he's using the World. He's wearing the World Cup again. I'm getting triggered.
We can choose.
No, Hilly, the World Cup.
I think it doesn't matter honestly who we watch.
We'll stick with Hilly.
We know who both are anyways.
Okay.
No, he's using my emotes. He's mental advantage.
It's not straight, guys.
Doesn't seem like a fair line.
Hilly does have a lot more space in the battlefield. Okay, here we go.
Ooh, the World Cup.
Joey is going in with a good start.
Aggressive positioning coming out from Youngbuck. Oh, that was a whiff.
First miss.
First miss. Oh, there's some aggressive positioning going on.
Yeah, Hillesang's stepping
You
up.
definitely see them use the advantage they have in the line here, moving in for the cleavers. I did not use this to my advantage. Like, look, every time they throw a cleaver, they get well into the wall, you know? I like that. I like that aggressive gameplay. Ooh, that was a sneaky sidestep. Oh, doesn't make that one. Just joke.
That was
hit the flash.
Youngbuck's too good, man.
Felt like there's a little bit of confusion.
This is close.
This is so close.
Felt like there's a little bit of confusion coming out after the cleaver there.
Joey's on the first.
He needs to be 2-0.
Oh, this is it. It's done. It's done. Hillesang's got it.
He can still make it.
Oh, Hillesang's definitely got it. Like one, yeah.
That's a close one. That's a close one.
Nemesis, do you want to go up? You're up
It
against
was a very respectable
Time
1v1.
to smack Hilly.
It
was very respectable.
Yeah, it's very good from Youngbuck.
No, but he's abusing World Cup.
Stay.
He's abusing World Cup. He's dealing too much mental damage to everyone who's playing against
him.
him.
He tilted everyone.
Too much mental damage.
That was impressive. That was impressive.
That was really solid.
Especially,
Yeah.
Hillesang put the wards closer to your side, so you had less space anyway.
Cheated.
Yeah, it cheated. 100%.
Yeah,
I was feeling it after the first two, but
yeah,
pressure.
I feel like after you flashed, it was a little bit of disorientation. And the cleaver went wide, but that's fine. I had the same thing.
It was like after the first two, and the third, I noticed he knew I was dodging to the bottom, so I
Yeah.
tried dodging to the top, but it didn't really work well.
Okay, so Hillesang versus Nemesis. Hillesang all the way from the bottom of the bracket, right? It would be the Cinderella story if he's able to win here.
He had the easy side of the
Nemesis,
bracket,
yeah.
just like G2.
That's true.
Wait, what?
You guys play Cloud9.
Oh, it's like the reverse me.
Oh, I see. Makes sense.
And G2, who did they even beat, right? RNG?
Oh,
random team.
I've heard of I mean, something happened in spring.
MSI?
Yeah, I believe something happened there.
I can't remember that.
feel like, yeah, top laner was inting. Might have been on the Fnatic side. Vaguely remember that.
Things happen.
Fine, I redeemed myself kind
Okay, it was another split of tanks, right?
of. Bot lane, I was safe. So I was got to bear the burden. I escaped it.
Yeah, they're in the loading screen now, so we should be in the game in a second. I really like Whippo. You have to. Your commentary has been on point so far.
Alright, let me have a look. Let me have a look.
I'm looking forward for some proper next level commentary here. TPA.
I'm gonna have to like
Yeah.
get up in here, you know.
Hey, if you want, you can stand up. Opens up the diaphragm, gives you more power.
But then I have to like zoom into the TV.
That's
Like
what I
how
do.
much
I like lean over the screen and then
Yeah, but
jump and stuff.
that's because it's horrible. Like,
Hey,
but
you can be on all
you want me
fours
to
if you
just
want.
grab the TV and just look?
Yeah, do it, man.
Just take the TV, looking at it.
Do what works for you.
He's using the TP.
To get tempo advantage.
Yeah, he's getting some little bit of tempo advantage. Once again in the pit first, so he can dictate whoever the distance. He does reach the.
He has side choice.
the
He has
field
side choice.
first.
He's a smart man.
Yeah, he has.
Oh, does
Oh,
he?
body blocks
Oh.
him, just disrespect, gives up his side selection.
30 seconds until
He
minions
really wanted the red side
spawn.
against me, so I didn't give it to him.
Oh, I see how it is. Things are getting dropped.
Okay.
The line is
Let's see
getting.
if the line is going to be fair this time around.
It's
Not really.
Oh, that's a little bit too much. No, that's a little bit too much.
I think it's
Come to Mundo.
Nice support main uses two pinks.
Getting that vision score.
Abusing vision score. I see how it is. Oh, one for one, straight
solid
up from the
start,
start.
solid start.
Yeah, we're both focused and ready.
Minions
They're gonna have the same cooldown. No, they're not. Hillsang has a little bit of delay. Oh, he's connecting every single cleaver at this point. Does trade one back. I like that. Aggressive position coming out of Hillsang. You see every time his cleaver is up, he is walking up and then backwards. We like seeing that. Oh, he tried to get in there, but not quite, not quite. Oh, there it is. Oh, this one's the decider, right? And this next one's gonna decide the fight, I think. Ooh, I think this one's the decider. Yep, it's over.
Ooh, it's a rough one.
Oh, he gets the flash
Oh.
out. He can use his flash. Oh, doesn't use his flash. Lost in the same way I did. Respectable performance.
Good job. Yeah,
Alright.
I think we've proven Nemesis is the next coming of Faker, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
if we ever draft Mundo, it's going mid. That way I escape my tank duty.
You see grabs with his notebook like Mundo, mid lane.
Reminds you of a certain scrim, maybe, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, okay. That was a classic.
That was a real classic.
You don't remember? The W max?
Yeah. Caps played Mundo, W max,
Hey, max W. You didn't know what the max were. You put points in W first. It was really.
and then solo kill belt on level 5.
With smite mid Mundo.
Actually true. Actually true.
Quickly, guys, we have one last giveaway before we end the stream. We're giving away one of the Fnatic Pro jerseys. Make sure you click on Bwippo's face. Don't type giveaway into chat. Click on Bwippo's face in the bottom right corner, and that's how you enter into the giveaway. Guys, we are going to finish up the stream in just a couple of minutes. I wanted to ask, do you guys have anything you want to say to all of the Fnatic faithful out there who are supporting you through 2019?
Well, I think as usual, a big thank you, because they've been there from the start to finish, and even when we lost at Worlds, there were a lot of very positive messages, which was, you know, something we really needed at the time, because everyone was very down. So seeing the continued support throughout the off-season and right after Worlds was very appreciated.
It's going to be a good year?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be
I
a
think
good year.
put some faith in us. Maybe the first 2 weeks will be a little bit shaky. Again, we have a new player. I don't think people should expect us to be as scary as we were going into Worlds, but that's going to come real soon, so don't worry about it.
I'm looking forward to it. Good luck this year, guys. And with that, that's all we have time for tonight. Please give it up for our League of Legends European champions and world finalists last year. Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and thank you so much, everyone, for watching on Twitch. This has been Legends in Action, brought to you by OnePlus. Make sure you watch the LEC. It starts Friday with El Clasico, Fnatic up against SK. But for now, good night.
Let's go eat. Let's go.